This is Conversation of the Birds, a story set to music. New chapters released weekly. Written, composed, and read by Jamie Holcomb. You're listening to The First Valley, in which our birds encounter their first obstacle. To overcome this new challenge, they will have to reconcile an old disparity. How do you outwit nature? How can more than 40 birds of every type and variety work together in the face of a great storm? Let's find out and listen to The First Valley. The pigeon was not entirely sure what was going on. As the variegated flock of 40-odd birds flapped eastward into the blue, the little gray pigeon turned to the bird at his right, a stern-looking crow, and he said, "Where exactly are we going?" The crow winced. Without turning his head, he said, "Didn't you just hear the conversation?" "Sure," said the pigeon, "but how are we going to find the smurg? No one's ever seen it." "That's exactly what we're going to find out," said the crow. "But then how do we know which way to go?" "The ibis," said the crow contemptuously. "That bird has read the signs. He knows the runic secrets inscribed in the book of nature." "Oh, okay," said the pigeon, "and that tells him where the phoenix is?" "I believe," said the crow, "that this is what they call an act of faith." "Faith," said the pigeon to himself. After a moment's thought, during which the crow tried to push ahead past the fat ducks locking him into his current position, the pigeon turned again to the crow and said, "So we all trust the ibis?" "Listen," said the crow, and now he did turn to take in his dull-eyed interlocutor. "Have you any ideas about the smurg? Ever read any runic secrets inscribed in the signs and patterns of the earth? Do you even follow what I'm saying to you right now?" "Easy," said the pigeon, "I was only asking." "Well, that's your answer," said the crow. "Yes, we're going to trust the ibis, who personally I consider to be wise." "If you say so," said the pigeon. A sudden headwind caught the group, forcing them to dive beneath that blast. They had been soaring above the clouds, but now the birds found themselves enveloped in the obscuring thickness of gray air and moisture. "Down!" yelled the hippo from far ahead in the cloud. "Down!" In a moment, the birds emerged beneath that bed of cotton that cloaked the sun and sky. Below them there unfolded a deep glen of cypress, a dark valley made darker by that expanse of cloud cover laying overhead. A flash of pink revealed the hippo diving into that deep valley. One by one, the birds behind him followed as a fast blast of wind shot into the flock. "Down!" the hippo's cries drowned in the rush of air until his voice was obliterated by the explosion of thunder. In a moment it was raining. All the birds dove to find shelter in one great ancient cypress leaning on the slope. "Is this the first valley?" said the hummingbird. He had taken shelter in the shadow of the ibis, who looked down and batted one great caramel-colored eye. "Oh, this storm is an unpleasant surprise," said the dove. She was once again perched beside the hippo, huddled against the trunk of the ancient cypress. The thick canopy of needles bobbed with each pelt of rain, but those green fingers caught the water in their web. An occasional blast of wind knocked the droplets loose to shower over the birds, but for the most part they had found sufficient shelter. "Maybe we should turn back," the pigeon whispered to the crow, who cursed his luck as the pair sat perched together on one of the lower branches of the cypress. A crowd of storks and pelicans shielded them from above, but that umbrella of beaks overhead was not going to be worth the conversation below it, or so the crow felt as the pigeon opened his beak again to speak. "Or maybe we should just make a run for it," said the pigeon. The crow had been preparing an exasperated sigh, but now the air caught in his throat. "What do you mean?" "Well, who knows how long a storm will last," the pigeon said, "and if we're trying to go across the valley, then we should just go for it." He winked at his dark comrade. A long beak dipped between the pair, and the stork said, "He's right." That long-nosed fellow reared upright to his brothers and cousins, the storks, herons, and pelicans around him. He said, "We've been through heavier weather than this, haven't we?" And now, angling that great piercing beak of his upwards, the stork called, "All you birds, listen, let's fly. If we work together, we'll have no trouble getting through this onslaught of water. Big ones shield small ones. Songbirds stick to hawks. Hawks get behind the albatross. Where's he at?" Like a ray of sunlight, that white sea roamer revealed himself on an upper bough, unperturbed by the raindrops scattering off his back. "Hope itself, aren't you?" the stork called out. "Let him lead us through the storm, and we'll weather this weather no trouble." The rainfall seemed to be endless, and indeed new clouds were forming above, all bruised with inner substance just bursting to join the torrent. There was no time to argue. While the sky thought up new types of rain, cackling thunder and flashing electric fangs, the birds created clever formations so that the strong protected the weak. They followed those birds who were skilled at navigating such torrential weathers, that is, the albatross and the stork and his generals. Altogether, the birds merged their skills to fly. From tree to tree, nesting here, sheltering there, as those lightning teeth gnashed into the valley. As one, the 40-odd birds flew across the valley until they all felt the air dry out, and a gust from below caught their 80 to 100 wings, and they shot above the whitening cloud into the serenity of a clear sky. "Good thinking," said the crow. The dull-eyed pigeon still flew grayly beside him. "Nothing to it," said the pigeon, and the crow had to laugh in a way that he couldn't quite explain to his simple friend. This has been Conversation of the Birds, a story set to music, with new chapters released weekly. Written, composed, and read by Jamie Holcomb. Produced by Supermoon. Join us next week for our next installment. If you'd like to check out more from Supermoon, visit us on TikTok or at our website, gosupermoon.com. That's GOSUPERMOON.com. The quest continues next week.